guess in the past I've called you Coach Eisenhauer or Tom. Now, how would you like me to address you?
You can just call me by my first name. I'm sure I'll respond.
Tom, describe first of all, your title and what your duties will be as the change is made.
Yeah, so I am now the newly appointed Associate Director of Athletics. In that role, I'll oversee home athletic events. I have oversight over athletic facilities and maintenance. I'm going to oversee compliance. We'll have another individual working in compliance with me who will take care of the day-to-day tasks of tracking and reporting. And currently I'm actually still coaching cross-country, so I'll continue to coach the cross-country teams for the remainder of the fall, and then we'll surrender that role come the end of October.
What about track and field?
Track and field, that position right now, Bart Mistel, who was my assistant a year ago, is now the interim head track and field coach. We are conducting a search for that position. Coach Bart is someone who is one of the candidates we're considering, and so we hope to make an announcement here within the next several weeks on who that hire will be. And at that point, once the head coach is in place on the track and field side, that individual will have the opportunity to hire their assistant.
Tom, you mentioned compliance, and for those people not familiar with maybe the inner workings of the NCAA or our athletic department, what is compliance?
So when we refer to compliance, it's simply making sure that we're following the rules. So the NCAA has a rule book that could pass as a phone book. There have been other sorts of legislative databases where it works much in the same way the legal system does. And so in order to make sure that the athletic department is compliant with these rules, a compliance officer is often put in place, and you have a team of people that work to make sure that the coaches are following the recruiting rules, the institution is following financial aid rules, and so the financial aid department is part of that team. Admissions is involved in it as well to make sure that recruiting practices are followed. But at the end of the day, we just want to make sure we're doing things the right way and the way that as a good member of the NCAA would.
It's going to be a while, or at least a short while, we hope, before that role is filled. So who does it in the interim?
So right now, Dr. Darlene Bailey and I are tag teaming that effort, and it's like the blind leading the blind in some places. So, but no, we've managed to work well with the compliance assistance system, which is a software system the NCAA has for member institutions, and we're going through eligibility right now, preparing to make sure all of our fall sports are ready to go for this weekend, and so right now it's a kind of combined effort, and she and I will both continue to work in that role, but when this next individual is hired, that person will have more hands-on with, like I said, the tracking, the actual documenting. That includes everything from countable hours, making sure that we're not exceeding practice limits, to when a kid comes on campus, is it an official visit, unofficial? So lots and lots of rules that will put everybody listening to sleep.
Well, hopefully not.
Yeah.
Tom Eisenhauer is our guest here at halftime. Talk a little bit, if you would, please, about the process and how you came to the position of Associate AD. I didn't come into this position because I was looking to get out of coaching. In fact, I was extremely pleased with where we were as a track and field and the cross-country team. We had a great recruiting class that came in this year, and those guys are working out right now, and it's fun to see the things that they're doing, and the cross-country kids are up and going. But there was some turnover in the department. Lucas Morgan, who had been the associate athletic director, accepted a position at Louisiana State Shreveport. He's the director of athletics there, so moving on to a higher position for him. It was a good choice for him and his family, I believe. And we all know that Ann Martin retired, and she did a lot to keep this place going. And so Dr. Bailey and I had some conversations about filling this administrative role with someone who had some experience in the institution, who knew the systems here. So I didn't take this role to escape coaching. In fact, it was a hard decision to come to because I didn't really know I was at a point where I wanted to give up coaching. But I also saw that this was an opportunity to help the rest of the athletic department, to help the institution as a whole. And I'm excited to work with all the individual coaches and get to know some of the student athletes from other sports as well. Even just getting to work with the soccer, volleyball, and football coaches more this fall than I ever have has been a delight, and I'm really excited for our first home football game next weekend.
Tom, you're a Jewell guy through and through, though, right? A graduate, and now coming back to coach and now be part of the athletic department. Does that figure into your decision to take on this job?
It does. I mean, I care about this place, and not just the athletic department. I care about the school, and I want to see the school do well. And my wife is an alum as well. We live here in Liberty. I mean, we live just less than 2 miles from campus. So it's a part of the Liberty community. It's something that we believe in, and like I said, it was an opportunity that I felt I could help out in areas that needed to be helped, to really kind of step up in a way that, in some ways, there's some things that I'm learning and it's new to me, but I feel that I'm capable of taking on anything that I need to do.
New Associate Athletic Director Tom Eisenhauer is with us. The position, I guess, was there ever a formal announcement? Because you've been doing this for a couple of weeks now, but I think the official start date was September 1st?
September 1st, so consider this the formal announcement.
Okay, well, good. Well, thank you for breaking the news. Right?
That's right. You're first.
Well, thanks.
Heard it first on Jewell Sports Network.
Yeah. Bother you to get out of coaching? I mean, are you going to miss it, you think?
Absolutely. I know I'll miss it. And in fact, it's bittersweet right now with the cross-country team, because every day that I go out there, I thoroughly enjoy it. I love being with those kids, but it's bittersweet knowing that I know that each day I do it, it's one less day that I'm going to do it again. But I'm a big firm believer that any decision you make is not final. So, if I go down this path and determine that administration is not for me, then I'm confident I can get a coaching job somewhere, whether it's in the high schools or in college or even just doing something at the club level. But I've got 2 kids. A son who's 3 years old and a daughter who is 8 months old, and knowing that my wife and I are both former athletes, I'm pretty sure that there'll be opportunities to coach those kids too. So
yeah, and anybody that's not met your family needs to do that, because they're a pretty good group. The athletic department, in terms of number of athletes, I've heard it said that we have more athletes than the University of Missouri has, than the University of Kansas has, maybe Kansas State. This is a big athletic program, and as you step into this associate AD role, how do you formulate a vision for the future? How is that process going, and how is it going to come about?
Obviously, my role is to support the athletic director and her vision at this point. And so, since I've been here for so long, there's a lot of things that I've already thought about. I had the opportunity to, as you know, host the GLVC championships 2 years in a row, and so I enjoy event management. I like putting on the event and have some ideas there, and so a lot of it is just being in conversation with different constituencies on campus, whether it's the new president, Dr. McLeod-Walls, or just folks here on our own administrative staff. But in large part, getting the feedback from coaches. So I've already begun making the rounds, meeting with individual coaches and determining, what we're currently doing for home events, what we'd like to be doing, and trying to determine ways that we can bridge the gap between the two. So right now it's a lot of fact finding, it's a lot of learning for me, because even though I was a coach of my own sport, that also means I didn't have the opportunity to be a lot of the other sporting events, and so I am excited about that as well. So a lot of learning going on right now, but I think my vision for this place is going to be shaped a lot based upon the vision of everyone around me too. Coach Weigel's got a vision for what he's doing, and it's my job to support him in that role.
I think you kind of touched on it without saying it directly, but you're going to be kind of in charge of coaching the coaches in some respects.
Yeah, and so that's a daunting task in itself, because this is a veteran coaching staff. I mean, these are, I had been coaching here for almost a decade before I stepped into this role, and I'm still one of the young guys around here. And so I think as much as I could be coaching these guys, I still have a lot to learn from those that have been around much longer than me. And but I think I have a lot that I can bring to the table as well.
Finally, as we visit with Tom Eisenhauer, first order of business as the Associate Athletic Director, what's the very first thing on your plate?
Hang on tight. Fall is busy for us, so we are quickly getting everything ready for soccer games. First soccer game is Sunday. First non-exhibition game, I should say. Then we have played a few exhibition games, but and then the following week is football. We've had 3 Liberty High School, Liberty North football games on campus, and so
Doing everything from the concession stands to the ticketing to just making sure the place looks nice. And so, right now I'm just doing a lot to just hang on and get as much done as we can. But I'm also thankful that I work with a lot of really great people. So I'm stepping in, and I've got to make sure that I mention Beverly Sirks. I mean, she has been phenomenal in taking up a lot of responsibilities when the transition was taking place, and so she has been essential to the athletic department in getting some things done, and she's really helped kind of guide me in some of these home event things and systems that are already in place. And so, but at the end of the day, it's athletics. It should be fun. So, our goal is to make sure the kids are having fun, and I'm going to make sure I'm having fun while I'm doing it too.
Tom Eisenhauer, the new Associate Athletic Director at William Jewell College. Thank you, Coach and Administrator Tom.
That's right.
Appreciate it.
Thanks, Rick.
And we'll be back with more in a moment.